COVID-19. Cabinet wishes all those that are infected with this virus, including our Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, and his wife, Dr. May Mkhize, a speedy recovery. Cabinet once again wishes to thank all the frontline health workers for their commitment and dedication, which has led to the increase in the country's COVID-19 recovery rate to over 90%. And again, is their commitment and dedication that has kept our fertility rate at 2.6%. The third area that we spoke to is focus on rural safety. Cabinet fully supports the work of our South African police in arresting those committing heinous crime in our country, which includes the killing and maiming of farmers and farm workers throughout the country. The farming community is an integral part of our economy, and crime on farms poses a threat not only to the personal safety of farmers and farm workers, but also to the country's food security. Government is fast-tracking the implementation of the revised rural safety strategy to respond to the security needs of rural communities and support socio-economic development. Cabinet calls on the nation to assist the South African Police Service in the fight against crime by joining community police forums and to report crime to the nearest police station. Indeed, to do so, we can call the free Crime Stop number at 08600 10 111. Let me repeat the toll-free Crime Stop number, 08600 10 111. You can do so for free to report criminals and crime. Or you could send an anonymous SMS to Crime Line at 32211. Anonymous SMS to Crime Line at 32211, or use my SABC app, the free crime reporting mobile application available for smartphones, to provide anonymous crime tip-offs. Again, let us repeat the app, my SABC app. That's what you can also use to report crime. We must work together to root out crime in our country and our communities and make our country safer for all. The fourth matter that we looked at as Cabinet is around corruption. Cabinet welcomes the arrests of persons allegedly involved in various cases of corruption, fraud, money laundering, and theft. These cases include, amongst others, those related to the looting of COVID-19 social relief funds, the fraudulent procurement of COVID-19 personal protective equipment, the scandal related to the asbestos housing project, and failure to report or underreporting to the South African Revenue Service. Cabinet fully appreciates and supports all endeavors to recover public funds from all those who have engaged in these fraudulent activities. The recent arrests are a testament that no one is above the law, and they demonstrate government's commitment to hold to account those who continue to break the law by robbing poor South Africans of much-needed government assistance and aid. Cabinet calls on the public to play their part by reporting those who commit such crimes to law enforcement agencies or calling the National Anti-Corruption Hotline on 0800 701 701. Let me repeat, the Anti-Corruption Hotline 0800 0701 701. 0800 701 701. The fifth matter Cabinet looked at and discussed is on gender-based violence and femicide. The scourge of gender-based violence and femicide and the abuse of children, which President Ramaphosa has denounced as the second pandemic after COVID-19, remains a plague on our communities, and we must do our best to eradicate it. The Bill of Rights enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa specifically states that every child has the right to be protected from maltreatment, neglect, abuse, or degradation. Cabinet calls on all South Africans to work together with our law enforcement agencies in ensuring that all vulnerable groups, particularly the elderly, women, and children, are protected from violence and abuse. The recent case of two 8-year-old girls who are twins from Mpumalanga who were allegedly abused by their father is deeply disturbing and concerning. One of the girls reported the incidents to a school teacher, and we must commend the response by the school that led to the arrest of the suspect. As a law-abiding and peace-loving nation, we should all unite in condemning such heinous crimes with the utmost contempt they deserve. The sixth matter is on media freedom. The 43rd anniversary of media freedom, known as Black Wednesday in South Africa, was commemorated on Monday, the 19th of October 2020. This day reminds us of the significance of the freedom of expression in our Bill of Rights, which includes media freedom as an important tenet in our constitutional democracy. Media Freedom Day marks the banning of a number of newspapers and arrests of their respective editors on the 19th of October 1977 by the apartheid police for exposing atrocities committed by the oppressive regime. Media continue to play an important role in entertaining, educating, and informing all of us as society. It also is very important, or plays a very important role in interpreting all facets of our social, economic, and political lives. Media remains a vital partner in strengthening our democracy and promoting the constitutional rights of all our citizens. The freedom to perform their duties come with the responsibility to ensure that they report fairly and objectively at all times. Cabinet pays tribute to all journalists who lost their lives during these difficult times of COVID-19 and commits to respect and uphold freedom of expression, inclusive of media freedom in our country. The seventh matter that we are speaking to is the end-of-year matric exams. Cabinet wishes the 1,058,699 grade 12 learners good luck as they begin preparing for the final examinations due to start on the 5th of November 2020 and end on the 15th of December. This year, the Department of Basic Education has recorded the highest number ever of grade 12 learners that will write their final exams. We are very happy with the preparedness of the Department of Basic Education and all our schools in anticipation of these matric examinations. Following interruptions to the academic year due to COVID-19, Cabinet appeals to all parents and guardians to support their children during this important time. The matric class of 2020 is urged to use the resources made available by government through the Woza Matrix 2020 catch-up campaign, wozamatric.co.za and Woza Matrix, in preparing for the national certificate examinations. We now come to decisions that Cabinet has taken. The first one is support to the domestic ferrochrome industry. Cabinet approved a number of interventions to support domestic ferrochrome production and its chrome value chain sector. The interventions include the proposed introduction of the export tax on chrome ore, the usage of energy efficiency technology on smelters, and the adoption of cogeneration and self-generation technologies. The local ferrochrome sector is the largest global producer of ferrochrome and is the only stainless steel producer. It is the biggest supplier of stainless steel to the automotive industry. The proposed interventions were put together by a task team comprising the Department of Minerals, Resources and Energy, Trade, Industry and Competition, Public Enterprises, and National Treasury. The second decision taken by Cabinet is on the National Youth Policy 2020 to 2030. Cabinet approved the third revised National Youth Policy 2030 to 2030, which is a cross-sectoral policy that was developed by representative government departments, civil society partners, institutions of higher learning and business bodies. It replaces the National Youth Policy of 2015 to 2020, which expires at the end of December 2020. The policy proposes 5 key priorities. 1, quality education, skills and second chances. 2, economic transformation, entrepreneurship and job creation. 3, physical and mental health promotion. 4, social cohesion and nation building. And 5, effective and responsive youth development machinery. The third decision that Cabinet took was on the National Plan of Action for Children, 2019 to 2024. Cabinet approved the 4th National Plan of Action for Children, which gives effect to the country's obligation to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. The 5-year plan outlines the strategic priorities and the implementation mechanisms in protecting and harnessing the rights of children. The plan is aligned to the medium-term strategic framework that sets out the actions government will take and targets to be achieved during an electoral term. It will be implemented in collaboration with civil society organizations. The National Plan of Action for Children will also serve as a framework to provide the country's progress reports to both the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child and the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child. The fourth decision Cabinet took is on the implementation evaluation of the Older Persons Act of 2006. Cabinet approved an evaluation report which was commissioned on the implementation of the Older Persons Act of 2006. The proposed recommendations on improving the adherence to the directives of the Older Persons Act have since been shared with the relevant department. The report can be accessed from the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation website, www.dpme.gov.za. The fifth decision is our Cabinet took is on the World Trade Organization Director General. Cabinet supports the candidature of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the DG of the World Trade Organization. She has previously served as the Minister of Finance of Nigeria and as Managing Director of the World Bank. The candidature was also supported by the African Ministers of Trade, chaired by our own Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Minister Ibrahim Patel. Cabinet wishes Dr. Okonjo-Iweala well and looks forward to a WTO that places development at the heart of its agenda and contributes to economic recovery during and post-COVID-19. If she is successful in the next round of processing by WTO, we are told that in this process there are now only two candidates standing. The African candidate in the name of Dr. Okonjo-Iweala is still standing as part of the two candidates that are still standing. If she is successful in the next round of processing by the WTO, if she wins, she will be the first African and first female to be elected to the position of World Trade Organization Director General. We are praying very hard that at the end of this process, we must have Dr. Okonjo-Iweala as the WTO Director General. We wish her very well. Not only us, the entire continent, and all developing countries in the world are also supporting the continent of Africa in putting forward this candidate. Messages on congratulations. Cabinet has congratulates Social Development Minister Malindi Lindiwe Zulu on her appointment as the chairperson of the Partners in Population and Development from 2021 to 2023. The Partners in Population and Development is an alliance of 27 developing countries that collaborate to promote South-to-South cooperation in population and development, reproductive health and gender equality. South Africa takes over from previous chairs, China and India. On condolences, Cabinet sent condolences to the family and friends of Dr. Vuyokazi Mahlati, who was the chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Panel on Land Reform and Agriculture. She was also serving her second term on the National Planning Commission. Cabinet sends condolences to the family and friends of former Land Claims Commissioner in the Western Cape, Ms. Beverly Johnson, who was a torchbearer in our struggle against apartheid and played an important role in the success of land claims by communities around the country. Thirdly, Cabinet sent condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of South African Human Rights Commission Deputy Chairperson, Ambassador Priscilla Jana, who was an outstanding and fearless human rights lawyer. She also represented some of us, who devoted her practice to fighting the apartheid regime. President Ramaphosa has accorded her a special provincial official funeral category 2. Fourthly, family, friends, and media colleagues of Mr. Dumisani Lubisi, who was the executive editor of City Press newspaper. He was committed to ensuring that a plurality of voices found expression in our country. Fifthly, family, friends, and colleagues of Member of Parliament, Ms. Dora Dunana Dlamini, who became a member of the 6th Parliament after the 2019 elections. She had been a member of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature between 2014 and 2019 before serving in the National Assembly. Sixthly, family, friends, and colleagues of Mr. Zamutolo Joseph Peter, who became a member of the 6th Parliament after serving in various capacities, including as the executive mayor of the Makana local municipality in the Eastern Cape. Seventh, family, friends, and colleagues of MP Advocate Hisham Mohammed, who became a member of the 6th Parliament after the 2019 elections. He became a member of Parliament after a long and distinguished career as the provincial head of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development in the Western Cape. And the last one is to family and friends and colleagues of Miss Thandi Gloria Mpambo Sibukwana, who became a member of the 6th Parliament in the National Assembly after serving as a permanent delegate of the Western Cape in the National Council of Provinces during the 5th Parliament. She served for many years as a teacher before becoming an MP. On appointments, the Cabinet has approved the Board of the State, these appointments to the Board of the State Diamond Trader. The colleagues who are appointed to this Board of the State Diamond Trader are Miss Monica M. Ledingwane, who will be the chairperson, Miss Faith T. Mukwena, Mr. Levi G. Rapu, and Miss Mpho Mosing. The second approvals by Cabinet are to the Board of the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator. Those appointed to the Board of the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator are Mr. Murake Abiel Mgomezulu as chairperson, Mr. Yeshen Pillay, Miss Khanyisa Macingwane, Miss Mpho Mosing, Mrs. Fidelis Zigalala Mvelase, Mr. Warren Wayne Adams, and Mr. Ernest Blom. Cabinet thirdly also approved members, non-executive members to the Board of Control of the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa. They are Mr. Leonard Ramatlakane, chairperson of the Board of Control of the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, Advocate Smanga Sithene, Mr. Matonzi Mukhuba, Miss Boitumelo Mukhoko, Mr. Dinkwanyane K. Mohuba, Dr. Alison E. Lewis, Miss Jennifer A. Schreiner, Miss Tina Vuyo N. Pierre. Of course, they will be joined by a representative from the Department of Transport, a representative from the Department of Finance, and a representative from SARGA. Cabinet also approved the board of directors of the Onderstepoort Biological Products State-Owned Company Limited. And those approved to this Onderstepoort Biological Products Board of Directors are Ms. Renee A. Kinosi as chairperson, Prof. Katutelo A. Nipawe, Ms. Nona N. Sonjani, Mr. Lufuno Nematswerani, Ms. Kribashni Naidu, and Mr. Luvuyo Mabombo. Also, fifthly, Cabinet approved the appointment of Mr. Peter A. Pretorius as Deputy Director General, Corporate Services at the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Cabinet also approved the appointment of Ms. Nontlantla Patience Mkize as Deputy Director General, Environmental Programs at the Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries. Cabinet also approved the appointment of Advocate Martin Mothusi Mafojane as the Chief Master at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Also approved by Cabinet is Mr. Nakambe Joseph Mohale as the Deputy Director General, Corporate Management Services at the Office of the Chief Justice. Lastly, Cabinet approved Mr. Livuani Tomi Makode as the Director General at the Department of Home Affairs. I know that this was a long statement. My apologies for giving you a long statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we'll entertain some questions. We've got Nongleba who will assist us with the questions.
Does not be on the Parliament Com Services Group, not overall program, that's not true to John Fraser from ZA Condolences is asking, where are the details of the Ferrochrome sector support? Please, can you please give more details on that? Tabo Mukoni from Sunday Times is asking, on COVID-19 corruption, has Cabinet does Cabinet support the calls for politically exposed persons and their families to be barred from trading with the state? If so, by when would you want to see the relevant policies and legislation in place? And then the last question that we have so far is from Paul Kiflato from Bloomberg. He's asking, has Cabinet been informed of and discussed the accusations against the country's deputy ambassador to South Sudan, Zabandu Ngobo, who, along with her partner, are accused by the South Sudan government of attempting to hire assist to kill the embassy's intelligence officer. Will the South African government allow the diplomatic immunity to be lifted on this matter?
That's it.
For now, yes.
Thank you very much. Minister, 3 questions.
Thank you very much. John Fraser, the details on the Ferrochrome matter will obviously be on the Trade, Industry and Competition website, but indeed we will also ask the minister responsible, the Minister of Trade, to even give more information or face the media to give more content on this matter. Thabo, this matter did not serve before Cabinet on trading with the state by anybody. It has not served before Cabinet. Issue of the South Sudan matter was not discussed at Cabinet.
Thank you very much. I think we'll take the last round. No, there's nothing. Minister, it looks like we were very clear. We will then close this media briefing unless you want to say something, but I think we close the media briefing. And thank you very much. Oh, your minister wants to say something.
I've said the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition will give further details on Ferrochrome. In fact, the minister responsible for matters of this nature will be the Minister of Minerals, Mining, Mineral and Mineral Resources. That will be Minister Mantashe. So they will, of course, they are working together. All these 3 ministers, Minister Mantashe, Minister Patel, Minister of Public Enterprises, Minister Godan, and National Treasury, Minister of Finance, Minister Mboweni, they are all working together. But the lead minister will be Minister Mantashe. So what we will then do, we will ask him at an appropriate time to address this matter before the nation, and so that we give more information to the nation on this Ferrochrome matter. Thank you very much.
We've come to the end of the media briefing, and thank you very much for covering. Thanks.
Right, Minister in the presidency there, Jackson Mthembu, briefing us on the outcomes of a cabinet meeting, going through a raft of issues from corruption, arrests to media freedom and COVID. He said something very interesting with regards to COVID-19, something that's very concerning to cabinet, is that in many parts of the country, people have stopped wearing masks. Cabinet has appealed to all South Africans to wear masks. Why? Because a second wave of the virus is highly possible. You see what's happening in Europe, in places in Europe. Reportedly, COVID is spreading rapidly in places like London. There are curfews in about 10 French cities. Germany is seeing a rise as well. So in the absence of a vaccine, health protocols still needs to be observed in order to keep transmissions low. So that was the briefing following this cabinet meeting. Another briefing that's happening, Eskom CEO Andre Dreiter saying that to